Hi all, how are you? Welcome to another edition of the Corner Table. In this edition, we discuss a very important and pertinent career question as to how to answer a question in terms of a sabbatical or what's called as a gap in your resume. I think it's quite common now for all of us to have gaps in our CV. We do take sabbaticals consciously or voluntarily or involuntarily because of professional reasons and the kind of macro changes that are happening in the workplace. So having a sabbatical or having a break in a CV is not very uncommon, particularly in the more recent years, that is the years after 2000 and 2010, when there's been economic slowdowns and a number of other changes in the global landscape, work landscape. So from that perspective, it is very important to equip ourselves as to how we are going to answer this question when faced with that in an interview. Potentially, an employer is very concerned about a sabbatical, not because of performance reasons, because your performance is going to be showcased in your skills and competencies and what you've achieved in your career graph till date. What exactly is a cause for concern is for prospective employers is whether you are somebody who has got the if I can put it in a different way, somebody who's got an urge to take a break from work time and again. So you have to essentially look at how often you've taken sabbaticals in your career graph. If it is a one-off case, it is for sure there are genuine reasons for it, and those reasons can be justified. But as a pattern, if you are someone who's been hopping jobs without an offer on hand, and because of that there are going to be gaps in your CV time and again, it is going to be extremely difficult to convince a prospective employer that you mean business. And when you say you mean business, essentially any organization requires someone with a fair amount of longevity in employment, somebody who's going to employ you or offer you a very serious role which is business oriented or business result oriented, would want you to be focused on his role for about 3 to 5 years consistently without any gaps. So in that sense, frequent gaps or frequent so-called sabbaticals are certainly a big cause for concern. And if you're someone who's very serious about a career, you have to consciously avoid taking breaks between jobs. The only way to do it is to not have you yourself quit from a particular job before you're having another offer. That is a very fundamental reason or fundamental way in which you can avoid these so-called sabbaticals. That said, there are a lot of times when you are forced in a situation where you have to have a break between jobs. For example, if irrespective of whether you're a good performer or not, if the organization in which you work for has undergone a rough patch, or the SBU in which you're a part of is going to have a rough patch, and suddenly there is a business decision on the part of that organization to shut down a line of business, obviously the whole bunch of people who are going to be in that are going to be without a job. So that you should be very clear, doesn't reflect on your competencies. You should understand that it is a business or strategic decision taken by the organization, and as long as you are able to communicate that very clearly to a prospective employer, saying that I am not personally responsible for this sabbatical, it is because of the macro economic issue, it is because the organization at large took some radical decision to downsize a particular business, or the business was going directionless because of the leadership and issues like that, you are forced to take into a sabbatical. So that is a very practical and realistic reason, and any prospective employer who's going through your CV, going through your competencies, going through your achievements will very clearly understand that personally you're not going to be responsible for what happened in that particular stint. That said, there are also a number of times where we consciously have quit from jobs. We are under duress due to some situation, and because of the duress we decide to take away from a job without having an offer on hand. It is those situations that you have to be in a position to defend in a very right perspective from a prospective employer's point of view. How do you do that? Well, we'll look into it right away. First and foremost in this is, I think, don't be hush-hush or don't try to cover up a sabbatical, be giving vague and ambiguous reasons for why you took a break. Be very clear, be honest, be straightforward, be upfront, and say that this is exactly the reason why I had to quit without a job on hand, and that is because of why which there is a gap in the CV. And if the gap in the CV is about a couple of months or 3-4 months maximum, it is going to be easy to justify because you have an immense track record of, say, 5 years or 10 years of work behind you, where you've proven to many organizations that you're worthy of metal in terms of a professional. So be upfront, be very, very clear, and be emphatic in terms of why you took a break. If you are taking a break for personal reasons, also be very clear about it. Many a times we don't give the real reasons. There could be some personal reasons, that there is some personal duress or personal situation on the family friend where someone is unwell or something and you have to take a break. I think those are very, very genuine reasons. Nobody can really tell you not to take a break in such a situation. For example, if there are elderly parents, someone is ailing at home and you need to take care of them, obviously there is a situation that you have to be away from work for a few months. So that situation you need to explain to the organization or the prospective employee very clearly, saying that, see, look, I'm not someone who will put in half an effort in the organization and the remaining half the effort will be focused on the family friend. I am someone who would want to give full into the organization, into my work. So because of that, I thought if I focus too much on my personal friend, if I focus too much on taking care of someone at home, obviously I'm not going to do justice to the work. So that is the precise reason why I took a break. I didn't want to do injustice to the then employer by kind of being half-hearted in work and being half-hearted in doing on a personal things. So that clearly also positions you in terms of being a person of high integrity, being a person of high professional values, and someone who always endeavors to give the best in any particular role. So be very clear, friend. And the immediate question is, what is the assurance or what is the guarantee that you won't take a sabbatical again and again? So for that, your answer has to be that, see, look, there was a situation at home, the person is better now, or somebody's health is better and they've recovered fully and I can obviously focus on my work again, or there is somebody else to take care of the person at home. So be very clear in terms of how the situation changed and what it means in terms of how you can focus better on your work front and career. Be very, very clear and state very, very frankly and brutally frankly that these are the reasons which compelled you to take a break, and now in the changed situation you essentially have to look at career opportunities again so that you can build your career. So these are some of the ways by which you can very, very clearly communicate to the prospective employer that you mean business, number one, and number two, taking a break was not a knee-jerk reaction but a consciously well thought out reaction, because there were things happening on the personal front which compelled you to take a break. So you remember all these things. If there are extraneous reasons or to some extent amusing reasons why you have to take a break because of the bad boss and things like that, you have to sugarcoat that and tell them that there was a bit of toxicity in the previous employment which wasn't auguring good neither for you nor your organization, and which is why we want to take a break. So obviously there are only going to be a very, very handful of reasons by which you will take a sabbatical. There are no more than probably 3 to 5 reasons which will force you to take a sabbatical. One, your organization didn't perform well, the SBU didn't perform well, so you had to be of let go. Second, you had a personal duress person situation at home, somebody was unwell, so he had to take a break. Third, you probably had a toxic boss and it was unable to work with a toxic boss and be productive. So like this, there are permutations and combinations of maybe 6-7 reasons for which you would have taken a break from work. So as long as your break is probably only one-off case in the entire career graph, it is not a problem at all in terms of a career graph or a looking forward situation. You can easily explain the situation to the prospective employer and be very, very clear that significant gap will never happen again, because the reason for such a gap does not exist anymore. So you need to be very, very clear in communicating your situation to the prospective employer. Also make sure you don't sound desperate in positioning your professional capabilities because you took a break and you come back to work. What happens is, in a lot of situations, we tend to undersell ourselves, undersell our skill in competitions because we are in a bit of hurry to get back to work. The moment you do that, whether it is verbally said or not, the prospective employer somewhere in the corner of the mind tends to exploit that and try and see if they can buy us cheap for the prospective role. So avoid sounding desperate. At the same time, be honest, be very clear as to why the sabbatical was taken and explain the situation, and also say that as a hardcore professional you want to come back to work and you are in a position to give 100 or more than 100% to the new job. These are some of the ways in which you can handle a very sabbatical or a career gap in a very, very comfortable manner. Most important thing is early into a career, try and avoid gaps as much as possible. Even if you have situations on the personal front, I think you should find ways to manage it without taking a break, particularly early on in your career, at least in the first 7 to 10 years of the career. The later part of the career, yes, once you assume middle or senior management leadership roles, gaps can be managed better than you do them in the early part of the career. These are some of the important tips which will help you or stand by you when you negotiate in an interview after sabbatical. I'm sure you find this information very, very useful and relevant. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you.